All right, here we go. Welcome everybody to the O'More Internship and Career Fair 2021. We are so excited today to kind of share a few tips and techniques of job and internship sourcing. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen with a PowerPoint presentation that we can see here. I'm just going to make that a little bit bigger. So before we kind of jump into a few of the different platforms, I wanted to give a little bit of background about my own career trajectory. These are a few of the companies that I have worked for. Some of the names are a little bit more familiar, like Sears, Kohl's, Kmart, White House Black Market, Chico's. And then some of them you might not have ever heard before. There are non-corporate fashion entities like Tibby and August Silk. But Li & Fung is a huge corporation, but you may not have ever heard of it. So in some of these companies, I launched some pretty big brands for entertainers. I was the first person hired for the Jennifer Lopez for Kohl's brand, and then that led me to Adam Levine for Sears, and ultimately Nicki Minaj for Kmart. So I personally have a lot of experience in working for large fashion corporations. And I know that a lot of you guys are thinking thinking about your career path moving forward. So are you going to go this large corporation route, or are you going to go something a little bit smaller? So today's presentation is going to be mainly talking about really large corporations and fashion design and fashion merchandising opportunities therein. So really quickly, some of the benefits of working at a corporation. You get a clear path to success. You know, the career tracks and opportunities for advancement are really well defined. In a corporation, you will have a defined role, which makes it honestly easier to receive a promotion. Employee benefits are huge. Things like health insurance, vision, dental, those things often come with corporate jobs more so than small businesses. Corporations will have more resources, kind of meaning typically in their best case circumstances, your department will be fully staffed. You'll have access to technology. You can request extra resources like software and training materials, things like that. And then one of the things that I personally have really benefited from is the diverse networking that comes with working in fashion at a corporation. You know, you're working with a huge company. There's a lot of different people there, and there's certainly a level of name recognition that goes with those company names that can really leverage some of your opportunities moving forward. All right. So today I am going to go hopefully at a pace that you guys can follow along. All right. So at this point in the presentation, if you want to open up your web browser and kind of have your web browser open and your Zoom screen open at the same time, and you're going to want to go to stylecareers.com. And it's just, www.stylecareers.com. And this is the landing page that you're going to see. Style Careers is the fashion industry's largest job site. Everything that all of the jobs and opportunities found here are specifically for the fashion industry. And I have found jobs on Style Careers as well. So what you're going to want to do is when you get to that homepage, down here where it says create a profile, you're going to click on that. Real quick before we get too much further, if you want to take a screenshot of the what you're seeing on your screen right now, when we talk about internship and job targets, because we're about to start seeing just a ton of different listings for internships and jobs. What you want to do is track who you're reaching out to and when you did it and who you talked to. So I always find a good Excel sheet is really handy, but this will help you basically track who you're reaching out to and make sure that you can follow up with them and if needed, do a little bit of LinkedIn stalking. So we'll talk about that here in a little while. But definitely before we get too much further, take a screenshot of this and it'll be good for you later. So once you have clicked on the create a profile on Style Careers, obviously you are going to just enter in your basic information here. But I'll be showing in the next couple of slides what your options for professional classifications are. And then down here, number 3, you would upload a resume. And if you are currently watching this presentation, if you're watching it as a recording later and you feel like you need a little bit of resume help, please feel free to reach out to me. It's one of my favorite things to do, okay? But in the meantime, let's take a look at number 2, the professional classifications that you can choose from. So this website really lets you get down into a very focused job search. So for example, if you are interested in being a footwear designer, you can select exclusively that. I personally would recommend clicking all of these boxes. If you're looking for an internship and even an entry-level job, because it really kind of opens the door. Next one over, you'll see job functions. So as we all know, there are a ton of different opportunities in the fashion industry. Probably the ones that we are more looking at are the ones that I've circled in red here. So you might be looking at buying opportunities, obviously fashion design and product development. And then down there at the bottom, intern/entry level. All of these things are going to get us into that creative field that we're looking for. But also, feel free to click on things like design for graphic and prints if you're into CAD, or design for technical if you're into fittings. Be as diverse with your choices here as you prefer. Under product category, again, you can get down into the nitty-gritty here. I prefer just to select all of these, but if you are specifically interested in exclusively children's opportunities, this would be a time to funnel that in. And then here, the region, which is really exciting. So you can really narrow down where you want to be looking for a job or an internship after or during school. In my experience, I just click all of these and then get a feeling for what the opportunities are from there. So this is just a sampling of some of the listings that come up after I've created a profile. You see internships, you see apparel design internships. There's a ton of different things that we can really get into, but this is really the premier location to be able to find those internships for these corporations. And we'll go through here in just one moment how we start actually clicking on them and applying for them. So now that I've created my profile, your dashboard homepage for Style Careers is going to look like this. You can browse the jobs and internships here. And then once you click OK, you can create a job alert via email for yourself, utilizing these categories that we're looking at above, right? So maybe sometimes you click apparel, intern, maybe you're looking for accessories, intern, but if you want to be able to get a job search email into your inbox daily, sometimes weekly, every single time that something comes up based on those parameters, they'll drop you an email in your inbox. So definitely click the button that says get jobs like these by emails, and it'll automatically enroll you in that newsletter. So say you're looking at the listing for the Abercrombie and Fitch Design Training Program, which I highly recommend. I've had friends that go through it. Um, Obviously, you're going to click apply for this job, right? However, sometimes it'll come up, oh, sorry, this job has expired, right? But what you want to, don't get dismayed, go down here and see show all jobs. Okay, so always be kind of looking a little bit further into it. All of these corporations are constantly recruiting, truly, and we're going to get into some of their recruiting efforts here in just a moment. But just because one job entry has expired does not mean that they are no longer looking for entry-level staff, okay? So when you click show all jobs, this is just an example of a ton of jobs that showed up. And then we see this design leadership program here, right? So if you click on that, then all of a sudden you're back into a place that it's a live listing, right? So just don't get too put off if for some reason it's not live. Just keep looking and around until you find the one that works, okay? So you click I'm interested. And you can apply here with LinkedIn. You can apply with a smart profile. There's opportunities to share your resume. Obviously down here, you're going to want to put on your LinkedIn website. In our class for fashion portfolio development, we do a lot of these social media platforms like LinkedIn. We develop an Instagram for our professional design work. That would be where you want to be able to share all of that information here, okay? Once you get a feeling for the position, this, what we're looking at right here, I then went into LinkedIn, and like if you have a little notebook making notes to the side, this is kind of what I recommend doing. So you've applied for the job, in this example, the Abercrombie Design Leadership Program, right? Your next step should really be search that company or that tagline on LinkedIn, right? You're going to look for people in HR or talent acquisition, or just informational interview targets, right? When I looked up that phrase, all three of these people that we're seeing on our screen right now were in the leadership development program. Something that we talk about in fashion portfolio development is kind of the cold call informational interview target request, where it's like, hey, I see what you are doing. I looked at your profile. I'm interested in the same thing. Do you think that we could have like a 5-minute phone call sometime? And the students that have been through the course will tell you the first time, second time, third time you do it, it's really awkward and scary. And then eventually people start saying yes, and you get this incredible connection and people give you so much insight. People are generally very willing to help if you can really tune in the correct wording for that informational interview request. If it's short, if it's to the point and it's honest, generally people will give you 5 minutes, and you never know what'll come from that, right? Like here down at the bottom, Maria E., I might get some insight from her about the leadership development program, but I might even get like, hey, if I wanted to follow up with someone from HR, can you give me an email address of a person that I need to contact to indicate my interest in this program, right? So informational interviews are really fantastic. Also, you can try to contact HR directly through LinkedIn. Basically, you're just trying to separate yourself from the mass of people who are also clicking on these profiles and applying for these jobs, right? You really want to give your personal impression. This is my target list for informational interview targets. This is the same thing as we were looking at earlier, but it's just for informational interviews, right? If you're keeping a list of jobs and internships that you are reaching out to, do the exact same thing with informational interviews. That way you can kind of get a feeling for how many people are saying yes, how many people are saying no. If you did have somebody, make sure that you follow up and say thank you, you know, just keeping track of all of this outreach, because pretty soon you're going to be putting so much effort into finding a job. It's going to be a lot of data that you need to keep track of. Okay, so if you're keeping track of your applications, keep track of who you reach out for informational interviews as well. Here's another example of one of the opportunities that came up on the Style Careers website. Carter's in Atlanta, Georgia right now is hiring for a ton of internships. So if you click on this listing, it will bring you to this page. Obviously, apply for this job. But they have a tremendous outreach program. When you start to get into their profile a little bit, there's all kinds of really cool stuff where you can learn about Carter's careers, specifically in fashion design. These people, their job as recruiters is to find talent. And that technically is you as undergrad, soon to be postgraduate emerging designers. So there are people whose exclusive job it is to connect with you and where you are right now. So there's some really cool videos and stuff that they try to get your attention. Another one, global sourcing / product development internship for Lands End. I did want to point out that there are remote internships right now, and the ability to get a brand name like Lands End under your belt, whereas normally you would have to travel to Wisconsin for something like that, but being able to do it remotely while you're still in Belmont is an incredible opportunity and very much a silver lining of the times that we find ourselves in. So any kind of remote internship, I highly recommend looking into. I wanted to let you know, like maybe you should change up your target category and your desired level, just because every time you change it up, you get a whole new set of job postings and internship postings that come out. For example, for this one, I got a ton of assistant designer positions, senior designer positions, sample assistants, like so many different things. I think for this one, I put in accessories, entry level, right? Previously, I'd done apparel. This was accessories, and like a whole new batch of opportunities came up. So keep it fresh, always keep refreshing it. I did want to say on the Style Careers website, normally don't click the ads. On the Style Career website, click the ads, okay? So when it says visit our sponsors, the things that are here in the red box, those are the recruiting agencies that I'm always talking about, right? If corporations have such a distinct need constantly for fresh talent to hire, these recruiting agencies kind of fill in the middleman position. We talk about it a lot in my class, but I'm going to walk you through it really quickly if you're not familiar with some of the recruiting agencies in the fashion industry. This is Fourth Floor Fashion. This is a screenshot of their homepage where you can reach out and connect with them. Basically, you are trying to make a real relationship with one of their agents. They ask about what you're interested in, what kind of job do you want, what is your background, what is your experience. And then when they see these opportunities from a corporate perspective, they're like, oh man, Lacie would be amazing for that. I'm going to give her a call. And then they get a commission based on the percentage of what that salary would be. So it's 100% a real thing. It costs you as an emerging designer absolutely nothing. So Fourth Floor Fashion is one. JBC Style is another one. I was going to say also just pick up the phone and call them. Talent acquisition, AKA is literally the business of these recruiting agencies. So there's truly no need to be shy whatsoever. Figure out their phone number and then just ask, hey, who handles emerging talent or new designers in your agency? I'm looking for a new agent. Solomon Page is another recruiting agency that specifically works within the fashion industry. This right here is a screenshot of their phone number, right? Just pick up the phone. Hi, I'm a recent fashion graduate. Can I please speak to the agent that handles entry-level talent? And they'll put you right through, or they'll take your number and get back to you. But this is literally what their existence is to find fashion designers jobs. Whenever I follow a agency, I also like to follow them on LinkedIn because they have really cool postings. So this is something from Solomon Page. My client is seeking a senior graphic designer for a remote contract. And you can reach out to these different agents. They have a ton of different positions like this all the time. This is another screenshot from the Solomon Page website. Down here, you can just say search jobs directly on their website. 198 jobs came up, and they might not all be the fit for you, but it's 100% in your general direction. They have freelance assistant designers, graphic designers, communication specialists, but all of it is surrounding the fashion industry. And you might think that a lot of this circles around New York, which it does, but obviously there are opportunities in some of the other kind of corporate towns in the Midwest, and we have stuff in California as well. So going back to style careers really quickly, I wanted to point out, you really have the opportunity to edit your profile and make it as appealing to potential employers and recruiters as possible. You can put in a profile picture, you can add portfolio images, really do your most to put in the information that makes you stand out from the crowd, right? It's not just a one-way street. People are looking at you too. Going back to this dashboard, right next to my account is a tab called Find Jobs. If you go down to job alerts, this will show all the different job alerts that you have created for yourself. And you can kind of manage them from here. This was the first one that I created that was, all industries, all job functions, all locations, like stuff comes up, like you let me know. And then the second one was based on one of the job searches that I had done. So it can get kind of specific. This is a screenshot of one of the emails that I get from them like twice a day. Tips to get to the top in the fashion industry. I mean, it's really very specific information, and it's relevant and real. It's not fluff. Here was some of the, this is kind of the format that they follow when they're sending these job alerts. And you can see that there's just like a ton of very real opportunities that get delivered right to your mailbox. It's very convenient. This was another one. You can see they're kind of all over the place with regards to location, but it comes right to your email box. It's very nice. So a couple more things about style careers, then we'll take a 5-minute break. I know everybody's kind of like, this is a lot of information all at once. But I did want to show you guys the resources page on style careers. You can see some of these boxes down here: industry news, recruiter interviews, featured employers, featured agencies. Like, there's a ton of insight into this that you can be gained. So if you go to their featured recruitment agencies, I had talked a little bit about Solomon Page, JVC Style, Fourth Floor Fashion. All of these are fashion recruiting agencies where if you can make a real connection with one of their agents, it only boosts your chances of finding your dream job, for lack of a better word. And I'm happy to talk more about the ins and outs of recruiting agencies, but I personally had fantastic experiences getting multiple jobs and freelance jobs through recruiting agencies. So I highly recommend them. Speaking of which, this is the recruiting agency that I used to utilize. It's 24/7. Mary Kate Kane was not my personal agent, but she was connected to me. She works directly with recent graduates who are looking for jobs. So she has guest lectured in my classes at Belmont. She is extremely open to connecting with you and receiving your information and really kind of starting to understand what your interests and needs are. So there's her email address right there. If you want a warm introduction, I'm happy to provide that for you as well. So just reach out to me if you want me to introduce you to her. Going back to Style Careers resources page, these are some of their featured employers. Big names, kind of going back to that whole concept of corporate brands versus small independent brands. I did want to point out, I personally would try to avoid retail positions. You will see them a lot on this website. It's one of the few kind of drawbacks of this particular website. However, I've had fantastic luck otherwise. There's not a lot of fluff on Style Careers. However, retail positions, I know that there's a ton of them and they're kind of low-hanging fruit. I wouldn't recommend going after them as a way to progress your career. They're wonderful for short-term cash flow needs, but I would definitely try to stay away from them if you're interested in fashion career development. Finally, in Style Careers, this resources page, if you click here on industry news, it takes you to their sister site, which is called Style Dispatch. And it's just a ton of great information about resume tips and interview questions. And these guys are, in the offices every single day doing the actual work of fashion development. And they are running a newsletter called Style Dispatch. And it's chock full of really great, relevant, pertinent information. There's also a LinkedIn Style Careers group. So you can go to your LinkedIn profile and click on Style Careers. If you guys were in my fashion portfolio class in this past fall, you'll remember Chris Kidd. He's the proprietor of Style Careers. He runs it. He came and talked to us as a guest speaker as well. And it'd be great to kind of introduce yourself and say thanks for coming. I did want to say, as you are looking around on Style Careers, you'll see things like chemistry, color specialist. There will be company names that you weren't necessarily familiar with. Try out new things, try out new companies. There are huge profitable companies that might not have the name recognition, but manufacture and distribute well-known brands that do. So don't be afraid to kind of get into the weeds a little bit and really research it, and as well as some of the job functions. All right, so what I would like to do right now is probably take a 5-minute break. Let's see, it is 38 minutes after the hour. We'll start back around 42. I will maybe pause the recording in case we need to ask any questions. All right, so we are back after break. I am going to share my screen back to the document that we were taking a look at. And now we start to get into some really, really amazing, exciting opportunities to connect directly with recruiters from these large corporation companies, okay? So if you have not been to the NRF Foundation yet, I highly recommend that you go. So I'm going to copy and paste this into the chat box here. I really highly recommend looking at it. So I'm not sure if this is showing up. If I can get like a thumbs up or something from somebody that shows if it is showing up. Here, I'm just going to share it like this. Here we go. So the NRF Foundation is hosting an all access career fair. There are so many incredible interactive opportunities here. I really highly recommend taking a look. So I'm going to go back to my document. So when you're poking around on the NRF website, you will see retail backstage, right? And this might not seem like the first thing that you want to look for. However, you can go, it's basically Zoom meetings with these different retailers, giving some level of insight directly into what they do. And the audience is exclusively university students in fashion, right? So for example, if you're on the NRF Foundation website and you go and you find retail backstage and you click on Dick's Sporting Goods, what it's going to do, and I'm going to share my screen to make sure that you guys can see it. So for example, this is just one of many. Dick's Sporting Goods on March 11th at 4 p.m. Is giving kind of a presentation into their private label lines. Okay, so Dick's Sporting Goods creates over 10 lines, including Kalia by Carrie Underwood, Alpine Design, Second Skin. So that means that they have fashion designers on staff, right, that are creating these in-house labels. So you are going to have the opportunity to hear a little bit from the people at Dick's Sporting Goods and really get the kind of one-on-one interactive experience. And even if it's kind of more anonymous, you're going to get a tremendous amount of insight into like what they're doing, but more specifically, who these people are, right? Because going back to, you know, I'm always lurking people on LinkedIn, you can really start to find the right people, okay? So retail backstage on the NRF website, number one, no doubt about it, right? But then these recruiter chats are happening like this week and next week, right? So you want to go to these recruiter chats and tell them that you look forward to seeing them at the behind the scenes information sessions, okay? So if you get to these recruiter chats, like, what's the point? What are you going to do? Like, say hello? Like, what's the point? No, you want to be like, hey, I'm Lacie. I am so excited. I am taking your behind the scenes university chat later next month. And I just wanted to pop in and let you know that I'm like really looking forward to it. Here's a link to my LinkedIn. Here's a link to my website, that kind of thing, right? Because all of a sudden, the people who are making the decisions about whether or not to hire you actually know who you are. They've seen your face. They know that you're lovely and have a cool LinkedIn profile and an amazing website. And all of a sudden, all of that work that we do in fashion portfolio development with regards to self-branding, these are the people that you have been trying to reach the entire time. Very exciting. So just a quick little plug. If you haven't joined the NRF already, this website is just chock full of these kind of opportunities. You can go to nrf.com/user/join. Use your school email address and it has it right there. You don't have to have any kind of like special sign up or anything. Another amazing thing that's going on is this virtual career fair coming up. So if you go to this website here, it'll bring you to a way to register for the virtual career fair for the NRF, which is happening next Friday, the 19th. So super easy. You just sign up, create a profile for yourself. You can edit all of the different things that you're interested in. I would choose as many as you possibly can. You can tell them what kind of position you're looking for. And then, sorry, all these different kind of steps. It will bring you to the NRF Foundation Spring Virtual Career Fair. Okay, like what is this? What does this even mean? You can enter into the lobby, and these are all the corporations that are going to be at this virtual career fair. They have Amazon, they have Bath and Body Works, Belk. So I clicked on Bath and Body Works, right? It shows who the representatives are going to be. And then you can connect with these people on LinkedIn and let them know that you are looking forward to seeing them at the NRF Virtual Career Fair on February 19th, right? So all of a sudden, you're not just throwing an application into a blank pile, like you have made very real connections and networking with the people who are in charge of making the decision whether or not to hire you truly. So I really highly recommend it. So I'm just going to go backwards a little bit. If you want to take a screenshot of the website, this is it. nrffoundation.org/all-access/virtual career fair. Like take a screenshot. It'll bring you to this homepage. You can follow all of the different steps on how to register, how to create a profile, what you're interested in. And then finally, you get to find that lobby. It's text-based. It's not Zoom-based. This particular career fair, you are able to ask different corporations questions and get information about where to find more information. But if you've never been in a virtual forum like this, it's kind of strange for the first time, but this one is text-based. Whereas the other two that I was talking about earlier with regards to the recruiter chats and the behind the scenes stuff, that is actually Zoom. Both have their positives and negatives, but I just wanted to give you guys a heads up. Definitely highly recommend. In this lobby area, click on each individual one, and that's when you can start to see who the hosts are going to be. And then you can find them on LinkedIn and say hello. So yeah, this is the Director of Talent Acquisition for Bath and Body Works. Another recruiter at Bath and Body Works, her name was also in the lobby of the NRF Career Fair. If I clicked on the Kohl's corporate room for the NRF Career Fair, these are some of the names that popped up. If you can see here, this woman is an early talent recruiter. There are people whose exclusive job it is to find people who are still in university and start talking to them about getting a job. So this is her. This is Brittany Roa. She is the director, or sorry, excuse me, she is the early talent recruitment coordinator at Kohl's. Someone else, Hannah Asmussen, she's also an early talent recruitment coordinator at Kohl's. highly recommend taking screenshots of these pages so you can go and find these people. Jack Lindbergh, he's also going to be in that career fair for the NRF. He's also an early talent recruitment coordinator at Kohl's. So yeah, there's a ton of stuff. I cannot overstate the importance of when they give you these opportunities to start putting in some information. This is not like the very anonymous job applications. Sometimes it just feels like everybody is trying to go after the same job. This is truly putting you guys in touch with the people that you need to know, the people who are interested in finding you. So if you see something that asks for a lot of information, I would definitely take the time and put it in, because you are trying to make an impression on these recruiters, and this is really a fantastic opportunity to get to know them. Dick's Sporting Goods, again, manager, university relations, senior campus recruiter. I went and found them on LinkedIn, because that's what LinkedIn is for, right? So she does virtual campus recruiting for Dick's Sporting Goods, virtually recruiting for Dick's Sporting Goods. So Curate Retail Group is also going to be at the NRF Foundation. If you haven't heard of Curate, they own QVC and HSN. So you can kind of check them out a little bit with the people who are going to be hosting here. And then as a bonus, Weatherly was the guest speaker for the diversity and inclusion for O'More. And she and I have connected, and she wanted to let you guys know that Tapestry, which is a brand agency which owns like Kenneth Cole, Coach, Kate Spade New York, Stuart Weitzman, shoes. They have an apprentice program that recently opened up. It's for recent graduates already graduated, but you can take a screenshot of this and potentially just Google it. And of course, if you reach out to me, I'm happy to give you the link. But yeah, that is generally, we're getting very close to the end of the presentation. I wanted you guys to have the opportunity, as many different ways as you possibly can, to learn and find out what kind of opportunities are out there. How do you reach them? How do you make an impression on recruiters? How do you make an impression on agents and agencies? How do you do the research? How do you just fling yourself into the universe? You know, you took a huge leap of faith when you went and studied undergraduate fashion design, truly. Your dreams continue on from there. This is a wonderful, fantastic opportunity to connect all of the work that you've done as an undergrad into truly a rewarding career that can really take you places. It can pay for your bills. It can pay for your health insurance. It's creative. You are using your university education, and I really can't highly recommend it enough. So if you have any questions, please reach out to me. I'd be happy to walk anybody through this individually that might need it. And as always, if you have any questions about resumes or LinkedIn or portfolios that you haven't done my portfolio class yet, reach out to me and I'm happy to do it. So at this time, I'm going to pause the recording and say goodbye to all of my people watching remotely and take some questions. Thank you.